Hey guys, it's Tease.
Hi.
So it is me back with another video book review. First of all, let me apologize for taking 3 weeks to bring another. It's been hectic and I couldn't exactly find the time or the full-on motivation to do this because it takes a lot of work. This is probably like what, our 9th take? Yeah, it's bad. So first things first, the very first video I'm gonna do after 3 weeks is on a book called Letters to Paige, and it is a fan fiction. Let me point out that it's not a fan fiction as in fan-based setting, as, taking a character and, you know, adding on to what that person already is or what they do or what they do. It's more, they're just using names and images and, I guess, personality for the setting, but that's what it is. That's the type of fan fiction it is. The book is called Letters to Paige, and it is literally letters to Paige. So it's in letter format, and each chapter is basically a letter between, let's say, 100 and 200 words. And the first reason I fell in love with this book is because of its complex simplicity. That sounds weird, right? But I happen to like simplicity. It doesn't overdo anything, but it doesn't underplay it either. It's very subtle and smooth. It rolls very nice, and I really like it. And my sister here read it with me, so that's why she's here. And I don't want to give anything away, but she
cried.
Yes, she did. She cried. So to start, I'm gonna read the first chapter of Letters to Paige. September 3rd, 2015. Dear Paige, it's the first day of school today, and the only thing I'm looking forward to is seeing you again. I know, I'm crazy. You'd never talk to me anyway. You're too perfect. I walked into homeroom and my eyes landed on your blue ones. They were shining bright, like the most perfect diamond ever to be found. You smiled, but I could only manage a small wave. Why am I so awkward around you? You just have that effect on me, Paige. You're in my English class and my history. You may have other lessons with me, but I won't know until the week is over. I could just ask to see your timetable, but that would just sound creepy. Yeah, Hayes, because writing letters to someone without sending them and obsessing over them when they don't even know who you are isn't one bit creepy. I'd wish you'd talk to me one day. Actually, I don't. I just embarrass myself by not talking or coming out with some random crap which would scare you off. I wish you knew how much you mean to me. Yours sincerely, Benjamin Hayes Greer. So, like I said, a letter. So, as the main character stated, he writes letters, but, he never sends them. And the other person, who is Paige, the object of his affection, doesn't know who he is. Now, as we read, the letters become not not a matter of length, but they become more informational. Like, there's one where he sees a bruise on her hand, or a black eye, or her smile fades and she no longer looks as cheerful and as happy as she did the day before. And it is that subtlety that I was talking about. You don't really see it coming. You don't have a setup. You don't have directions. You don't have she smiled, he laughed. There's nothing like that. There's simply one person saying something, observing, stating how they feel. And there's a few hidden messages in this that, like abuse, depression, paying attention to someone. And in this, he tried. He really tried. He tried hard, but unfortunately, like most people, he missed the mark. So as the story goes on, we find out, there is one chapter. I hope I could find it. Yeah, so here it is. I'm gonna read the I'm gonna read it once I find it. Just, yeah. All right. So here it is. October 23rd, 2015. Dear Paige, we had a whole school assembly today, but you missed it. We only have whole school assemblies if it's really important. The head teacher stood up at the front. His eyes were bloodshot red and his cheeks were stained with tears. It kills me to have to tell you this. It really does. Paige Lake unfortunately took her life last night. I'm terribly sorry. He sat down and put his head in his hands. He always had a soft spot for you. Why, Paige? Why did you do that? Why did you leave me? I could have helped you. You didn't have to give up. Murmurs spread across the whole room. People cried, but they didn't even know you. Not like I did. I stood up and stormed out of there. I couldn't bear seeing people who didn't even care cry about you. It just didn't feel right. And now I'm here, sitting on a bench, writing this letter to you. What was the whole point in doing what you did? Are you trying to break me, Paige? Yours truly, Benjamin Hayes Greer. So, when I read this, I was on the train by myself, and a tear dropped. I'm not gonna lie. And then when I read it for her, well, with her on the train, the exact same thing happened, and she's mad at me. But after she, got over the initial shock and the pain of it, she actually went back to finish the story, because despite her losing this fight, before it happens, before she gives up and, kills herself, she gives Benjamin a letter. Now, we never know what the letter says until the very end. And that's after, he's had a hard time. It's, he's trying to continue with life, and, things are rough. Now, he doesn't feel like living anymore because, the person that he cared about and loved the most is gone. And it's a lot of the time that's what happens with people that are depressed. They don't think about, the other people in the situation. They think about them, but not as much as they should, and not in the way that they should. They think that if they're gone, it'll be better. That if they aren't burdening someone, it will be better. But they don't take the time to think that it's better to talk to them, to let them know what's happening, to really express who they are and try to find help and solace in that person. They think that the best solution is to take that pain away from that person, but they don't realize they cause them so much more pain. And, he goes to the funeral thing, he's trying to continue his life. Things are hard. And at when it continues, it continues, and in December, on December 12th, he says, Dear Paige, I can't write letters to you anymore. I guess this is goodbye, Benjamin. The pain has, become too strong for him to continue to go on. And then a few months later, again, he starts writing. He starts writing to her again, which is great. And then, I keep saying and then, I'm so sorry. The very last letter. I'm going to read that to you. Paige's letter to Hayes. Dear Hayes, hi, I guess. This is really weird, but I have to write this down on paper before I leave. I guess this is like a suicide note, but my story will be in it too. I say it like this story is something to be proud of. It's not. It's far from it, actually. It was a lot that pushed me to my limits, though I hope that I hid my emotions well. If not, then I'm sorry for putting a downer on things. I suffered anxiety a lot as a kid. Being a dancer helped it in ways, but pushed it in ways too. I'd have attacks before going on stage once in a while, but soon it got too regular and made me want to quit. But being on stage released stress. If I didn't think about all the eyes on me, only too much. My mom always helped with the stress, though. My mom was my world, and we would do everything together. That was until she left one day. Unexpectedly. Well, not really. My dad used to drink a lot, and my mom would suffer the wrath of his anger when he came home intoxicated every single night. It must have gotten too much for her, and she didn't think of me at the same time. She just wanted to get away from the abuse. I understand, because if I would, I'd get out of there quicker than you could say goodbye, drunken abusive bitch. He did abuse me. Every day. That cut on my jawline that you so clearly saw in history, that was him. He pinned me up against the wall and got out his pocket knife. I thought he was just trying to scare me, but when he put it to my face, I could see that his eyes were merciless. He blamed me for my mom leaving, when clearly it was all his fault. He usually just hit me where no one could see it, but that day he didn't care. He'd prefer if the social services got involved and took me away, and I would too. That bruise on my eye, which you couldn't stop looking at, that was also him. He slammed my eye on the corner of the table, and it stung like a bitch. The makeup hurt to put on. Rubbing it in was like putting salt in the wound. But nobody could see what I was going through. I couldn't put them through the trouble of knowing. I came close to telling you in history, but I couldn't. Why would you care? You don't know me. I'm just another faceless girl in a few of your classes. And why the hell am I writing this letter? It's pointless. You probably don't care anyway. The ugly, stupid, fat girl who was forced to pair up with you in history? I'm sorry about that, by the way. But if you did care about me one bit, then I just want to say in advance that I'm sorry for doing this. It may not hurt a lot of people, but if it hurts you, just know that it is not my intention. I'll be happier. In a better place. No one can hurt me up there. You're going to do so well for yourself, Hayes. You'll find a gorgeous girl and have beautiful children. Live in a huge house and have a steady career. You aren't stupid, Hayes. You have a steady head. It's too late for me, though. I'm broke. And no one can fix me. Thank you for reading this far, if you did. I love you, Hayes. I honestly do. Paige. P.S. Sorry for the tear stains. So, that's how it ended. And in the original ending, we got an inside look of Hayes' life beyond the letter from Paige. And he had, grown up, was studying, I can't remember to become what, or he had become it. It was a great profession. He had a family, and he had told his wife about Paige, and when they had a daughter, they named her Paige. And I thought, the story itself, the entire thing made me cry, from the subtlety in the progression to the sad ending, part ending, to the insight into the future and seeing Hayes' life. It made me cry. And like I said, it had a lot of hidden themes in it, moving on, learning to live with the pain and trying to get over it. Because even if someone else isn't able to push past it and keep going, fight, you should. Even if you feel left by that person, you don't turn around and repeat the same mistake. You don't go to suicide and things like that. You continue and you try very hard. My turtle is moving. I'm sorry. Yeah. You try very hard to, get a better life. And I think the book symbolized it a lot. I don't know if that was her intention. I should hope so. But it did a great job of it. So that's all I have to say. Savannah, would you like to say anything?
Well, first of all, the book was really nice, and you guys should really read it. But when I get to the sad parts, you might want to get a box of tissues first. I really liked it, and I think you guys should read it as well.
All right.
Very nice book.
All right, so thank you for that, Savannah. That is the wrap up for this week's video book review. And again, if there are any suggestions on books you think I should read or check out, anything short, it doesn't matter with length or whatever, but if there's something that you think I should check out and you think deserves a little bit of publicity, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. I have had a great time doing this, especially with my wonderful little sister sitting next to me. So, I'm off, and I shall hope to have her back as a guest sometime soon in the future. So, bye-bye.